What does it mean to be carbon neutral? Social sustainability, social responsibility, web to label. We sat down with the new managing director of Infigo, Alex Bowell. Welcome to the PrintPod. Meet the boss. Hi, Alex. Welcome to the PrintPod.
Thank you, Chris.
So you've been with Infigo just over 10 years. I bet you've seen some sights, some changes.
Yeah, I have. 10 years. Considering I'm 28, it's pretty good going. 10 years at one place. I remember my first day. I remember my interview with Douglas, but I remember my first day.
You got an interview?
Wow. It was in the Harvester over a beer. I worked for quite a few years in central London, straight out of uni doing website development. Loved it. But then, Doug convinced me to come and work at Infigo. And I remember my first day walking in, historically being at a big head office, 5 floors, 500 people, walking into our little Infigo office with 6 people in, thinking, ooh. Not sure what I've let myself in for here, but don't regret it a second. Had so much exposure to, obviously, every aspect of the business. Worked with some incredible people, and seen it grow from firsthand from 7-8 people to today we're 50
strong.
50 strong and going. And it's been a really enriching experience. Learned a lot. Obviously grown up with the business as well, and with many at Infigo, have children, started a family, just really grateful for being part of that whole journey, and excited for.
Nice.
I'm not going to say the next 10 years, but for whatever happens next. But 10 years.
Wow. So in those 10 years, you've been a big advocate for sustainability on many levels. Environmental, social, economic. You're kind of wearing that kind of Crusaders cap and hat, really, aren't you? In the sense of you're sort of leading the way. Do you want to sort of share your thoughts and your feelings on the 3 pillars?
Yeah, I'm passionate about it. You work in some businesses and they just regard it as being fluffy, nonsense or noise. But I really am passionate about it. I think I get a lot of that from my dad. But from the social aspect, and look, we're really lucky working again for a business our size where you can be a bit more flexible with things like that. And obviously working for someone like Douglas, where he's open to, introducing new concepts or new ways of working that maybe aren't the norm. But certainly from the social aspect, working or being involved in the 4-day working week trial, which we did.
Which you spearheaded, didn't you?
And again, really lucky that Douglas is open to that sort of thing. You go to another boss in another business and say, look, we're thinking of working 4-day weeks but paying staff 100% pay. They'll be like, you're crazy. But we went through the process, and we went through it properly. And actually, what a 4-day working week is the byproduct of a lot of the processes and things that we put in place in order to increase productivity, improve staff morale, improve the well-being in the business,
performance,
energy, job satisfaction, and actually we went through the process of monitoring everything that people were doing in a working week. And if you can remove the stuff that they don't need to be doing, or the noise, or the things that don't add value, you end up with more time working a 4-day week than you would an unproductive 5-day week. And when we were basing measures and benchmarks to see whether it was something that we could do as a business full-time and sustain it, it ended up being a no-brainer. So it's something that we have to keep reinforcing in the business, because you can slip down to the old 5-day working week way, but 4-day working week, and then you're in real trouble. But it's allowed us to create this environment at Infigo where the work-life balance is incredible. You know, you get to Thursday evening, you've got a 3-day working week, a 3-day weekend, sorry.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can use those Fridays to do self-development or, you know, see your kids or do stuff that you don't want to do on a weekend, life admin, that then gives you a weekend free to...
We had a last episode of the PrintPod, we had the support guys, James Thompson was on, and he was explaining actually the value to the customer of the 4-day week from a support aspect, how they receive more support hours. I mean, that's something you don't think about.
No, agreed. And what it's also done is allow us to, you know, as we have grown, as I mentioned, you know, in 10 years from 7 or 8 people to 50, it's allowed us to, you know, attract talent that maybe we wouldn't have. You know, if you want the top end, you've either got to give them something that other companies don't, or you've got to pay them loads. And you've got to try and find that balance, and offering people a 4-day working week, money can't buy. You know, we always say that and there's different ways you can spin it to make it sound better or worse, but you work with Infigo for 5 years, that's 250 days. You know, seven years, it's almost a year of free time that Infigo are giving you back, that you wouldn't have elsewhere. And so, you know, for many people, depending on the stage in their life, that's invaluable.
I mean, obviously you were spearheading the trial. Was there anything that you took from the trial process personally?
Productivity and just being focused, like coming in on a Monday, really keen to give it everything, give it Monday to Thursday as much as you can, so that Friday you can switch off, and like learning that a lot of the stuff that a lot of people do, you just don't need to do. I personally learned that I accept now that I can go home knowing that things haven't been done, because that will always be the case. And like historically, you'd stress about it, and you'd be like, right, I know I'm gonna stay working late, or, you know, I've got this big inbox. But actually, when you learn to prioritize things a bit more and accept that some things aren't going to get done because you've made that conscious decision that it's not as important, or it doesn't add the value, again, it makes that work-life balance so much better.
So metrics that matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay. And as part of that sort of social aspect of the sustainability, there was the 4-day working week which you touched on. The workplace culture as a whole changed, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah, agreed. Like, so we always say that working for Infigo is like a family, but we really do try and make people at Infigo feel valued. That's both from the work that they do, but also like listening to them and taking feedback and applying it. And so, like Julie, for example, you know, we have EMPS surveys that go out, employee satisfaction surveys that go out, where we regularly touch base with the employees and understand where their frustrations lie, because naturally every company has things. We're not perfect.
And just on that point, so recently on a webinar, we actually mentioned and highlighted the fact that as a business, as a leadership team, you were very much open to hearing people's thoughts.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's quite rare, isn't it, to put yourself out there and say, tell us what you think honestly.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be.
No.
Like, why, you know, and again, I think it comes from that smaller business culture, or growing from a smaller business to a bigger business, where you can kind of retain that. We don't want people to just be numbers. We want people to make a difference, and to be able to, and what we understand as a leadership team is that, you know, we have a leadership team, obviously you're part of it, and incredible leadership team that help drive the business forward, but the leadership team aren't in it day in, day out. It's everyone in the business. It's the people in the support team, it's the people in the marketing team, it's the people in the sales team that are in day out, having the conversation with customers, having the conversation with prospects, that we need to listen to to improve. Because if we're the ones making the decisions and not listening to anyone else, we're going to be making the wrong decisions. So there's a lot of that about understanding our staff, listening to them, making them feel valued. And again, that all helps with the whole well-being piece, making them feel like they can make a difference. Because if you give them that responsibility, that accountability, and that feeling of being able to make a difference, then they will, as long as you've got the right people that want that.
And that resonates as well with 3 awards last year. Best places to work, best places to work in tech, best places to work for women.
Yeah.
So that's
and naturally that's what should happen if you start doing the smaller things that then build up to making it that sort of environment where people can thrive, and that's what we try and do.
So Infigo's become more active as well under this sustainability model, hasn't it?
Yeah, again, that's something else I'm passionate about. Not just me, yourself, Chris, like a big advocate. We've got Duncan in customer support, who's a machine. And of course, we want to be inclusive, so it's not for everyone. But yeah, we like to try and keep people motivated, both physically and mentally, and setting up challenges. Obviously, last year or the year before, we did the cycling to Ukraine and back, and that was a brilliant experience. We had a team Strava. And everybody from walking the dog to Duncan cycling 200 miles a day or whatever. But it was brilliant, and it galvanised everybody at the business, got everybody that potentially wasn't, that active beforehand, moving again, contributing. We look to do more of that sort of stuff. We're looking at doing maybe the 3 Peaks Challenge as a business.
Nice.
And we encourage everyone to come up with ideas that just get everybody together.
Good.
The other thing that we're doing is also in everyone's contract, everyone has a volunteer day, at least one volunteer day, where we actively encourage people to go out and work with the community. There's another big part of our kind of social and community-based well-being pieces that we're now in Linfield, historically in Crawley, but we really want to make sure that we leave or have a positive impact on our community, and going out and offering our time or whatever it might be. It's something again that we really want to encourage all our staff to do. It gives them an extra day off, but it gets them out it gets them to see how different people live, whether it's we've got a couple of people going to the food bank and helping out, giving food parcels. Last year we had people helping out with St Catherine's Hospice, doing the midnight walk, and just doing our bit, because we are in a privileged position to do our bit, give back.
Okay, and that brings me nicely on to environmental. So to coin a phrase, Infigo 𝐸𝐸𝐞𝐞. Tell me about Infigo 𝐸𝐸𝐞𝐞 as a whole and the different strands.
So currently, it's about our impact on the environment. As a business, we have a responsibility. We're in a fortunate position where we're a software company, so our actual, if we're looking at the carbon footprint aspect of it, is fairly minimal. Our AWS hosting is carbon neutral. We made sure of that, and then we're taking other steps to make sure that when we travel, we're doing it responsibly. Public transport, train where possible. There's a few electric cars in the business, and we've taken them to partners and things in northern France, Belgium, and if we have to fly, we're just conscious of the fact that that obviously has an impact. And there, we're doing things in the office where we make sure everything's recycled, we're going paperless or are paperless, and all little contributions like that where we can have an impact. And it's about awareness, so that people can not just do it at work but take it home and incorporate that sort of awareness, environmental awareness, in their personal life. From a Infigo product perspective, we have a lot of initiatives. One of them is obviously one that you really enjoy and are passionate about, which is every time a customer of ours launches a new storefront, of which we have 2,500-3,000 now, we'll plant a tree with an environmental partner that we've teamed up with. All automated. So as soon as they click, that storefront goes live, that request goes in, the money leaves our account, and a tree gets planted in the most appropriate places and the most appropriate tree type. And you've taken that and extended that now to shows and things like that. When we capture leads, they can scan the barcode or the QR code and we'll plant a tree.
And it amazes me how something we probably take it slightly for granted. But when you hear the PSP, so what? So I just create a storefront and a tree's planted. Yeah, you have to do anything. And we're seeing now, aren't we, that the counter, totting up.
Yeah. So we, as part of the kind of partnership we've got with that provider, is that we get our digital forest displayed to us, and you can see like the amount of carbon we have helped to reduce, or the forest that we've grown has helped to remove from the atmosphere and things like that. And it's just a really, it doesn't cost us much, but we have invested time to do the development, and it's just a really nice.
And the feedback from the PSP is that they could, when they're pushing web to print to their customers, they can say, well, we'll plant a tree with your storefront.
Yeah, they can say it. Even though we're the ones doing it, they're all part of that service and that journey,
So in terms of the environmental piece, is there anything else on the pipeline?
Yeah, something that we've been talking for a long time with a number of partners, is about providing, as part of the Infigo solution, the ability to calculate your carbon footprint on the jobs that you're producing through Infigo. So you might create 1,000 business cards and you select a certain stock, and we know that it's going to be printed potentially on a certain machine. We can send that request to a third-party software system, and it will come back and say, this job is going to produce X amount of carbon tons or whatever. And it can show that to the customer, so they can be aware of that. They can download a certificate, and then when they place that, they've got that certificate, so that if they're going through the process of making sure that they're environmentally sustainable, they can make that part of their policy and then offset it if they want to. Or even we might even offer the ability to offset it as part of an additional fee in the checkout. But again, something that we're really keen on providing as a service to, again, our PSPs, for those that are that minded, but also to end customers. It might impact their buying decisions.
I heard at Drupal last week that that's going to become a requirement in the next 10 years for every PSP, that they need to be able to identify and articulate what the environmental impact is
of their business
on every job.
Well, and if they want certain accreditations and things like that, they have to, and that includes extending to vendors and partners like ourselves. If they're using our software, we have to be able to then, if we want to sell our solution into those bigger corporates that have those policies in place, it's a must for them to work with you.
Sure.
So you have to be able to provide them with what is the carbon impact of those jobs, and then they can take that and they have to be accountable for it. So.
Allow us to interrupt this broadcast with a short ad break. Are you ready to take advantage of the next printing revolution? Access our white paper to find out how web to print has revolutionised the printing industry. Inside, we discuss the growing importance of print e-commerce and automation, whereby customers are increasingly seeking an Amazon-like experience, with businesses that can't provide this being left behind. So how do you take this one step further and put your customers in control? Access the white paper and find out how web to print is revolutionising the printing industry, how customers can find your business online, how you can learn from Amazon's huge success, how to enable your print business to make money while you sleep. The way in which potential customers want to deal with your business has changed. Are you adapting to grow? Download it now at infigo.net/white papers.
You've been a champion of many things at Infigo, especially in the last 2 years. Something that I've seen you get really excited about and very passionate about, and which personally I'm quite excited about as well, is this EOS framework. For me, it was very easy to understand it because the way you delivered it, and I thank you for that. For the people listening or watching, what is EOS? What does it do, and why are we doing it?
I think as a business, and a business of our size, I think we've always been very good at working fairly efficiently, and the systems and the processes and things like that we have in place. I pride ourselves on in the business, and that's down to everybody, you, me, Douglas, and everyone that's involved in the business, that you have conversation. I have conversation with friends and other people in business, and I tell them how we operate, and they're like, whoa, that's cool. And then you have conversations, and they take some advice and implement bits and pieces of that. But we're always looking to improve. And yeah, one of the things that we looked at and had conversations with Doug about was about introducing a framework, like a company management framework that just gives you structure and tooling that allows you to run the business more efficiently. And so we had a look. Douglas recommended EOS, which is an entrepreneurial operating system. Gave me a £300 book, a 300-page book, sorry, and said, "Oh, have a look at this, see what you think." So flick through it, looks good. Like we did get a consultant in to kind of talk through the concept with us, and then they were like, "Look, you've got two options. You can implement these yourself, or you can get someone in that will hold your hand through it." And
you fancied it?
Douglas is like, "Nah, it's fine. We can do that ourselves." So we did. But yeah, I mean, it's a framework. It breaks down their concepts of managing a business efficiently into manageable chunks. So it looks at your vision, it looks at the people, it looks at the data, it looks at issues and issue handling, it looks at processes, and then it just provides tools and a framework that allow you to just break that down into chunks, work through it, and make changes and just evaluate the business. From a personal perspective, it gave us all an opportunity to reflect, and I think that's really difficult in a business where you're 100 miles an hour every day and you're doing the things that you need to do, and it's sometimes hard to take a step back and reflect, and this whole process has allowed us to do that. So we revisited our core values, we revisited our vision, we revisited our purpose as a business, because it's quite easy to lose your way over time, get distracted by sales and deals and opportunities and things like that. So that was the real first piece, and we went through lots of exercises where we had the whole leadership team together, and for example, the core values, which was a really cool exercise, we got everyone to write down 3 people in the business that they would clone, that they felt would make the business fly. If we had more of this one person in the business, it would make us successful. And then they write down why, like what are the characteristics that person has that you think would make the business successful. So then you write down these characteristics, and then we had them all up on the board through multiple days sessions, and then we whittled them down. We saw lots of people stating the same characteristics that everybody agreed with, and that became an important one. And then we whittled it down to five, and that was our core values. And then we looked at our vision, and really tried to put clarity around what it is we're trying to do. So the whole point of that whole first piece is like getting people to focus on what's important and drive focus, because if everybody's focused on what we want to do and everybody knows where we're trying to get to 1 year, 3 years, 7 years, then it's a lot easier to get everybody moving in that one direction. But
was there I don't know if it's me, but was there a link with the process with the 4-day week? Because it felt to me as if obviously it's more detailed, more granular with EOS, but it felt as if we were going back a little bit to why are we doing it, who for, and what really matters. And with the 4-day week, we seemed to cut away a lot of the fluff. And it seemed with EOS we were doing similar process.
Agreed. It gives you focus. It gives you, and it gave us all an opportunity to talk about it. So everybody was kind of had the opportunity to give their opinion on it, discuss it, and be part of that process. And I think that again helps the buy-in. And then we looked at the people. We looked at, do we have the right people? Do we have the right and so when we say do we have the right people, it's do they have those core values that we think are really important, that we need to live by? Are they in the right seat? So do they understand their job? Like has their job spec changed in the last 3-5 years since they've been here? Probably but do they know what they're responsible for? Is there accountability that they're aware of? And then do they have the capacity to do it? Do they have the energy? Do they have the skill set? Do they have the desire? And and it's really then like
some honest, tough questions.
Yeah, it was. You had to.
Yeah,
You have to be. Otherwise,
yeah.
what's the point? But the capacity piece is like, right, anybody can come in and do their job to get paid, but are they doing it because they really want to? They really want to make a difference. They really want to add value, and that's what we want in Infigo. And so that was a really, really valuable process that we went through. And look, a lot of it was validation that some of the stuff we're doing is there already and is working. So it wasn't like coming in to make mass changes. It was a bit of validation. It was a bit of tweaking. We restructured our leadership team. We restructured a bit of the business. And we went through the process of every single person in the business now has a new job specification with the list of all their responsibilities. So everybody should be clear in what they're doing. We've identified that they're the right people. We've given them clear responsibilities now. And
you're, someone would say you're competitive, understatement, a bit of a winner. Would you say, will we now sort of 6 weeks down the line, when I look at the dashboard, there's a lot green. Yeah. Are you fairly happy with how it's going? Or?
Yeah, so I mean, our year starts 1st of May. And if I was to, if I'm honest, if I was to say we would be in this position now 6 weeks in, I'd have taken it. I'd have bitten your hand off. So far, so good. But there's a lot of work to do. And it's really just ensuring that people are focused and driven. And but yeah, so what? Yeah. Oh, we haven't got onto the job change, but yeah,
I'm about to.
Yeah, I'll say that in a minute. Do you want to say what our values are, or do you want to advertise in here? Or not?
We can do. We can we'll share those.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. These are our values.
But I think you mentioned the job changes, the job titles. We've obviously gone through our own job roles again. We've looked at what our responsibilities are. It was a cathartic process, wasn't it, where we had to look at ourselves and what actually am I supposed to do for Infigo, and where does that fit with the main plan. Your role changed, and congratulations, you're now managing director of Infigo. Obviously that doesn't mean we've lost Douglas completely. We kind of pushed him up. But that's quite a role, and you seem to be coping with it like well, maybe it's a swan effect. Maybe you look like you're
that's it. Just good at disguising it.
But how does it feel? Is it feel any different, or is it
no, it does. Look, if you had asked me a year ago, in a year's time you'll be managing director, do you want it? I'd be like, no, I don't know. But again, the process we've been through, you could be here. Don't put that. The process that we went through to get to this point, and a big part of like the EOS structure is you have a visionary, and that is
Douglas.
Obviously Douglas. Like he is the guy that will continue to drive the business forward, continue to come up with the ideas about what we do next, how we get there, or not how we get there, but what we do next, and the direction of the business and the big picture. But I think Douglas will be honest, like he's not the best at the day-to-day bit, the detail bit, and so what EOS suggests as part of the framework is you have the visionary, and then you have the integrator. Okay. And so the integrator is the one that comes in and
keeps us on track,
pieces it all together, and works with the core pillars of the business: marketing, sales, finance, customer, product, on a day-to-day basis, and make sure that there's no blockers. Make sure that that we're executing the vision that Douglas or us as a business have decided on. So, like, what I've really noticed and appreciate is that in a role like this, you can't do anything without the team around you. Like literally, you can't. You as a person in a role like this don't do much of the actual doing. So you rely so much on a team around you that are efficient, that are motivated, that are communicating and working together, and that is the big thing that I've really noticed. That and really lucky that we've got people like you, Chris, Paul, Greg, Julie, Rebecca.
There's more.
Dennis, Michael.
Probably more.
There's probably more. Sorry. Sorry to anyone that is missed off that. And it's super important. So just really in the first kind of few months of this role, we're really appreciating from all the support from you guys. But enjoying it, motivated to make it successful, and really I don't want to say confident, but like I'm up for the challenge, and I think that we can smash it.
It's keeping some of those sort of disciplines from the EOS, keeping them going will be the winning factors, won't it? But
and now on a weekly basis we talk as a leadership team every Tuesday afternoon. People bring up challenges that they've had and we resolve them, and we monitor key measures and values in the business to make sure that everything's on track, and if things aren't, we bring them up, we talk about them, we attack them, and we deal with it. So we are now being actively more proactive to monitor the business and make decisions decisively, and
transparency.
And so another thing that we went through is we gave each department clear budgets, and not only clear budgets, we gave you guys the opportunities to feed into that. So now you have an understanding of the financial side of
wasn't it?
the financial side of the business, the impact that you guys have on those as a business, and ultimately its success or failure, but
not an option.
Not failure. But you need that information in order to do your jobs effectively, and so now you've got that, and the transparency's there, and the accountability's there, and we're a team.
No, it's good. I think like I say, 6 weeks in, there's momentum. I think the dashboard doesn't lie. It's more green than there is red, so that's good. Well done, and thank you. I think the next topic is a huge topic for you personally, web to label. Somehow last year you've been coined the label champion of the converter. Let's go back to last summer, Brussels Label Expo. We launched, Infigo launched 𝐝𝐞𝐞𝐞, very, very powerful piece of software engineering from the guys. You were front and centre with a lot of the marketing and the interviews and demonstrations on the stand. We also, as part of that show, were able to integrate with HP and did the 𝐁𝐨𝐨𝐤 label promotion. It was a fantastic event. But before that show in September, there was a lot of legwork and a lot of travelling. Eco-friendly travelling, may I add.
Of course.
Do you want to just share a bit about?
So I mean, our core market is, and where we've done all our business, most of our business to date, is the general commercial print. It's what we're good at, it's what we know. But we were always looking for more opportunities, and over the years, labels, and not just labels, but packaging, has come up as a real growing market and a real opportunity for us. So we spent a long time looking at what we need in order to operate in that space, but not just operate in that space, be the best, or really make an impact in that area. So we looked at something that we do and are really passionate about, is partnering up, because we understand that as a solution that we want to sell into businesses, we're only a part of that. And so finding a labels partner, an MIS provider that we want to partner up with was one of our first ports of call. So we looked at them all, and we had a few chats with CERM and realised that they were a great fit, a fantastic business, great guys that are supportive and share similar values to us. So went out to see them a number of occasions, and I really liked the way that they approached it. They invited us to one of their customer events, so we went to the customer event. Me and Douglas stood up and pitched to a room full of their customers the concept that we were thinking about, and so that they
So long before it's been created.
long before it'd been created.
Right.
But we had a concept, and we were like, "This is what we're thinking of doing. Can you validate this?" And
Yeah.
we got feedback that was invaluable.
Right.
And that along with a core set of customers, mutual customers, created the solution that we have today, and
Which is very strong.
which is very strong. We obviously, as you said, we launched it at Label Expo last September, and yeah, since then, building up traction. It's evolved and it's matured.
You've been to another customer event since?
We've done Paris again this year, so another CERM customer event, and we also did the one in America. So yeah, CERM have been fantastic in letting us in and allowing us to speak directly to their customers. So again, it's invaluable to have that insight into how we position our product and develop it. And yeah, now we believe, and so does CERM, that between us with our front end offering and the power that CERM has, that kind of end-to-end label solution at the moment is the best out there, and it will continue to improve because
it's evolving.
It's evolving. It's a key focus for us this year and the future, and CERM are our premium partner in that space. Although having said that, we are also doing integrations with label tracks and looking at others, so that when we go to Label Expo this year, we have CERM, but we can also cater for label tracks customers, and then we're also doing a hell of a lot of work on Infigo natively, so that us as a standalone solution and a web to print in the label space
can work with any.
Okay. You don't have to have a partner. With Mega Edit, we're doing lots of work in Mega Edit, pricing, workflows, all of those things that allow you to just use Infigo to be a really strong web to label software piece.
So Label Expo September,
Yeah.
Chicago,
Yeah.
Label Expo Americas this time. We can expect to see a few things.
Yeah.
Launched.
Yeah, we got a really big plan. Like it's a real key focus for us. CERM
Launched in America for the first time.
Launching in America, yeah. So it'd be interesting to see how that's received.
Yeah.
Label tracks, as I mentioned, maybe a few others.
Yeah. Watch this space. And then, yeah, we're also looking at doing what Douglas is coining a label factory. Yeah. Which is the ability to spin up a labels storefront with products, with pricing, with the right workflows and configurations. Easily, quickly. Okay. So if we can get sight of these, people should attend Label Expo in Chicago.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Alex, you've been an absolute pleasure to speak to you today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Look forward to a catch up soon for an update on how the EOS is going and how many trees we've planted. And good luck in Label Expo.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for joining us today on the PrintPod. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and consider subscribing to make sure you get all the latest from the world of print and marketing. Feel free to share what you would like to see in the next episode of the PrintPod in the comments below. For more behind the scenes content, don't forget to follow us on our social media channels in the links in the bio below.